Sushil, you may start.
A very good evening, everyone present here for the fourth day of the AICTE sponsored Faculty Development Program. Today, Dr. Professor Rajesh Tiwari sir has been invited to deliver a lecture on New Education Policy 2020. I would request Parul ma'am to kindly introduce sir.
Thank you so much, Sushil. It's my privilege to introduce Professor Dr. Rajesh K. Tiwari. Professor Dr. Rajesh K. Tiwari is currently working as Professor and Dean Academics at Amity University, Uttar Pradesh, Lucknow campus. He has over 26 years of teaching and research experience in the field of biosciences and biotechnology. He has acquired his PhD from Central Institute of Medicinal and Aromatic Plants, CSIR CMAP, Lucknow, and was involved in research program of horticulture crops at Central Institute of Subtropical Horticulture, CISHICAR, Lucknow. He had worked with Chinese Academy of Sciences for postdoctoral program on plant transgenic development, especially on recurrent Chinese medicinal plants. Professor Tiwari was also selected at Volcani Center, Israel for Mashab International Young Scientist Program. His research and teaching interests are genetic transformation of medicinal and aromatic plants as well as horticulture crops. Professor Tiwari has 42 research papers, 13 book chapters, and several popular articles to his credit. And he is reviewer of several national and international scientific journals. He has authored one book, developed 6 patents, and completed 3 research projects so far. So far, Dr. Tiwari has 6 students who have completed PhD under his supervision, and 7 more are pursuing their PhDs. Professor Rajesh K. Tiwari is instrumental in developing academic curriculum of biotechnology and shaping up well-equipped biotechnology laboratories at Amity Institute of Biotechnology, Lucknow campus. His recognitions in recognition of his contributions to research and academics, he has been offered position of affiliate research professor at University of Louisiana at Lafayette, USA. He has also been discharging the responsibility of Dean Academics and Director Outcome and actively involved in international accreditation, that is WASC, Senior College and University USA, and Quality Assurance Agency QAA UK. Beside all these academic and professional accomplishments, Professor Tiwari is an early riser. He believes that commune with nature daily can help you overcoming from grief, sorrow, pain or pleasure, ego or arrogance, and can also easily manage success and failure, praise or insult, humiliation, or any other thing at any other stage. It has been my opportunity to work under Professor Dr. Rajesh K. Tiwari sir for about 11 to 12 years, and silently I have learned so many things from you, sir. So I again welcome you, sir, here in this FDP. It is our pleasure to hear from you about NEP 2020. I cordially welcome you, sir, and invite you to take the session.
So thank you, Dr. Parul, for nice introduction, and Dr. and Mr. Sushil for all technical support. Very good evening to all of you. At the outset, I welcome you all in this session of AICTE Training and Learning ATAL FDP on current era of artificial intelligence in biological sciences. This particular session is dedicated to National Education Policy 2020. I call it Education Beyond the Conventional Boundaries. And our discussion on this very important policy would be centered around how we can take the education beyond the boundaries. If I am correct, I have been given 2.5 sessions, each 50 minutes, 10 minutes break in between, and I have planned accordingly. So in first half, I will take up the main policy draft, which is a huge draft. So I try to take the major recommendations of the policy in the first draft so that I can introduce you with the policy first. And in the second half, I will try to discuss with the rollout plans and implementation plan of the policies.
Okay, sir.
Here, I would like to make one thing absolutely clear to all the participants, that I'm a hardcore biotechnologist. Hence, my understanding about the NEP 2020 is as bad as or as good as yours. The only upper hand I have by virtue of my experience as a dean academics, as a director outcome, I had an opportunity to be part of the rollout plan of this policy at Amity University. We are the first or amongst the first university in the country who has rolled out the NEP in undergraduate program. So with this background, I start. First, let me share the screen. Is it visible?
Yes, sir, it's visible, but it's in presentation mode only. It's not.
I put it on the presentation mode.
Now, sir, the slides are in slideshow mode.
Okay. So major ingredient of NEP 2020 is the outcome-based education system. This whole policy is intended to make the current existing system a complete outcome-based system. So just to honor that, I will first clear the goal of this session. The main objective of this session is to create awareness on the perspective of the National Education Policy 2020, to visualize a unique education system to meet the global standards of the education, to discuss the recommendations of the NEP for higher education. So NEP is, applicable to school education as well as the higher education. But in this session, we will take up all the aspects with special references, special emphasis to the higher education system and the rollout plan. The expected outcome of this session would be the learners or the participants will be able to demonstrate the clear understanding of the policy recommendations. And the learners or the participants will be able to understand the strategies for implementation of NEP 2020. So after completion, you would be able to, show your understanding about the policy, and you may have some idea how to roll out the policy at your respective places. So by now, it is well understood that high quality education is the best way forward for developing and maximizing our country's rich talent and resources for the good of the individual, the society, the country, and the world as whole. Research and innovation, as we all experience, driving education system is essential for sustainable growth and economic development. In the modern economy, quality education is crucial for value creation, value addition, growth, and employment. It leads to the new businesses as well as to increase the competitiveness of amongst the enterprises. That results into the job creation, which is the biggest problem nowadays, prosperity that leads to the prosperity, and also help people living better life. Now, the genesis of this policy, I would like to introduce with the Sustainable Development Goal, the SDG 4, Sustainable Development Goal of 2023 Agenda of United Nations, is adopted by India in 2015. This SDG seeks to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote the lifelong learning opportunity for all by 2030. And this whole NEP 2020 is aligned with this mission of SDG 04 goal. Indeed, with the quickly changes employment landscape and the global ecosystem, it has become increasingly critical that the child not only learn, but more importantly, they should learn how to learn. It quickly realizes that the gap between the current state of learning, outcome, and what is expected is a huge. This education policy 2020 is the first education policy in 21st century, while aim to address many growing developing imperatives of our country. The policy proposed the revision and revamp of all the aspects of education system, existing education, the regulations, the governance, new verticals will be created to align the whole system with the 21st education requirement and as well as the SDG 4 goals. Now, it is said that the policy was influenced with the existing policies of the developing countries. Yes, it may be true, but if you go through our ancient system of education, you will find that it is all the gradients which were already present in our ancient system of education, that is Gurukul system of education. The rich heritage of the ancient and eternal Indian knowledge and thoughts has been guiding force of this policy as well. I will not take much detail on it because the objective of the session is a little different. Here are some of the major reforms that has taken place in past. Say, for example, the University Education Commission was set up in 1948, followed by the Secondary Education Commission 1952, an Education Commission in 1964 to 66, and the first education policy, the National Policy on Education, was rolled out in 1968. After that, in 1986, the second National Policy on Education was rolled out, and the unfinished agenda of the National Policy of 1986 was modified in 1982. That is why we call it 1986 by 1982 policy. The major focal point of these two policies, 1968 and 86 by 92, was the access and equity of the education for all. The new education policy, NEP, which we call it ATAL, was rolled out after 34 years of the gap. The Union Cabinet of the Indian approved the policy on 29th July 2020. And the main focus of this policy is access, equity, and quality education. So this quality word was introduced in the policy. The policy proposed the revision and revamp of all aspects of the education structure, including its regulation, governance, create new systems, and align it with the 21st century education system, which is the recent now the current requirement of which cater the unemployment problem, skill set problem, and everything. But what is the need of it? To me, there is a huge gap between the current learning outcome and what is required. As you know, and this is the main reason of the unemployment issues that has been, encountered time to time, because the industry, the society requires something else, but our universities and colleges are producing something else. So there is a urgent requirement, urgent focus should be there to bridge this gap. And this policy will certainly put up some of the important recommendations to bridge this gap. The vision, as you know, shows you what is individual in future. The vision of the policy is to instill among the learners a deep root of pride in Indian system, not only in thoughts, but also in spirit, intellect, and deed, as well as to develop the knowledge, skill, values, and disposition that support responsible commitment to the human rights, sustainable development and living, and global well-being, thereby reflecting a true global citizen. So this is the vision that guides the whole revamp of the education system of our country. But there are some fundamental principles. I have taken some important fundamental principles, not all, because of the time constraints. Some fundamental principles of the NEP 2020 are: first is the recognizing, identifying, and fostering the unique capabilities of each student. by sensitizing teachers as well as parents to promote each student a holistic development in both academic and non-academic sphere. And flexibility is the inherent characteristic of this policy, which ensures that the learners can attain their learning trajectories and the programs in a flexible manner. The multidisciplinary is the core in the policy. There is no hard separation of the streams. The emphasis is given on conceptual understanding rather than the rote learning. Ethics and human constitutional values were given importance. It also promotes multilingualism. Life skills such as communication skill, cooperation, teamwork, resilience were given utmost importance. Research and innovation and the lifelong learning is at the core. So all these fundamental principles, these are the important ones, though there are a long list of fundamental principles. I have taken only the important one. One more important is a tight and light regulatory framework will be developed to ensure that all the fundamental principles are in place in time and given framework. If you see the main draft of the policy, you'll find that this whole draft is divided into 4 parts. It deals with the education system, school education system, the higher education system, and professional and technology development, as well as how to make it happen, how to implement it. So I will try to touch all the aspects with special reference and special focus on the higher education in subsequent slides. So let us have a look on the school education. This policy envisages that the 10+2 structure of the school education system, which is the current education system here that we have been following right at present, will be completely changed, restructured in the new pedagogical and curriculum structure. So now at present we are following 10+2 structure in the schools education that will be modified to a new pedagogical and curriculum restructuring to 5+3+3+4. So here you can see in this way, the first level is the foundational level, then preparatory stage, then middle, and the secondary stage. And the most important thing that the children of 3 years of age will be taken for the first time in the formal education system. Earlier, the classes start from the age of 6, from class first. But now, these is the children of the age of the 3, they will be taken into the formal education framework. So preparation starts at age of the 3. By age of 8, they will enter into class 3. So in the first stage, the 3 years, the Anganwadi or the preschooling, then first and class 2. So 5 years they will spend in foundational level, and after that, the children will enter into the class 3 and class 5, that is the preparatory stage. After 2 years, passing 2 years, the student will take admission in the class 6 to 8 in the middle level, and after that they will enter into the secondary level that will start from the class 9 to 12. Earlier, it was from class 1 to 10, it was in the 10+2 structure, and the secondary level was separated. But now the class 9 to 12, from age of 14 to 18, this is under secondary level, and the whole policy was, whole structure was revised in that way. So 5+3+3+4 structure will be now followed. The important regulation of the first recommendation of the policy that I will take up, and that is very, very important, is early childhood care and education. The NEP further highlights universal foundation literacy, which we will take up as a next recommendation. Now, the Anganwadi Kendra, which are at the village level, they have been given responsibility for the early childhood care and education. When the children of the 3A age group, when they will enter into the classrooms, these Anganwadi Kendra will be given responsibility. And these Anganwadi Kendra will be, integrated with a primary school or preschool, or they will work standalone. That has to be decided, and that structure has to be revamped completely. To look into the early childhood care and the education, the national curricular and the pedagogical framework will be developed to take up the issues and challenges and integrate the Anganwadis and primary school and preschool to resolve the issues which are, prop up for ECCE. As I told you, the NEP further highlights the universal foundation literacy and numeracy to achieve by 2020. Policymakers believe that read and write and perform is the basic function that every student has to be proficient. And in the child care and education objectives, every student of age group of 3, they must start reading, writing, and performing on the basis at their own capacity. So for that, the National Mission of Foundation Literacy and Numeracy will be set up. The foundation will work up and come up with the recommendations to how this objectives can be properly achieved by 2025. Another important is the curling of dropout rates. It has been realized and it has been well documented that gross enrollment ratio for class 6 to 8 is 90%. And the gross enrollment ratio of 10 to 12 is dropped down to 79%. Whereas in higher education, only 26% students get enrolled. So how to improve this GRE gross enrollment ratio? Efforts has been made and the recommendation has been given. Say, for example, the system will be, made active to provide the sufficient infrastructure so that the students have access to safe and engaging school education, suitable opportunity to catch up and re-enter into the schools in case they have fallen behind or dropouts, teachers to develop with knowledge of the local language, because it is believed that a student can learn in an appropriate manner if the language of the instruction is the local language. Another important recommendation is the holistic development of the learner. The holistic development means developing a child socially, emotionally, physically, intellectually, and spiritually. The aim of the education will not be to be cognitive development, but also building characters, creating holistic and well-rounded individuals equipped with the skills of the 21st century. It's in simple words, the student will get opportunity for all overall development, not to learn, but learn the syllabus, but to learn the skill sets as well. So to achieve these objectives of the holistic development of the children, the curriculum framework will be developed for ensuring that skills and the values are imbibed through engaging process of the teaching and learning. And the NCERT will identify required skill sets and include mechanism for their transaction in the National Curriculum Framework for Early Childhood and School Education. The curriculum will be reduced is the biggest, the problem that the education system is facing. So NCERT will work in this direction also to reduce the curriculum, to infuse the skill sets and develop a curriculum framework so that the student can get the holistic development. Now, another important recommendation of the NEP 2020 at the school level is the multilingualism and the power of the language. It is well understood that the young children learn and grasp concept more quickly in their home language or in the mother tongue, as research clearly shows that the children pick up the language extremely quickly between the age of 2 to 8. That is why the children of the three age group were proposed to be taken in the formal education. The three language formula will be continued to be implemented. Just to apprise you with the three language formula, you may also be knowing it, that the first language in the three language formula will be a mother tongue, and the another two language. Out of these two language, one may be a foreign language, but another language will be a regional or language. So two languages from the foreign country, the foreign language cannot be acceptable here. In this three language formula will continue. The medium of the instruction until the least grade 5 to 8 and beyond will be of the home language, mother tongue, local language, or regional language. How it will be implemented, it is a big challenge. Thereafter, the home or the local language shall continue to be taught as a language wherever possible. A high quality bilingual textbook and teaching material will be developed in science and mathematics, and the government has started recently in Madhya Pradesh, in one of the medical college, all the textbook of the medical field were translated into the Hindi, and it was distributed to the students. So efforts has already been started, but it is a big issue because we are a very diverse country. There are several languages, the local languages, the dialects, and implementation of one language throughout the country is not possible. So the government will continue with this three language formula at the school level with some modification. The national curriculum framework for the school education system will be developed. This national curriculum framework for the school education will be developed after discussion with all the stakeholders, say, for example, the state government, the ministries, the relevant departments of the central government, as well as the expert bodies, and the process has already been started. The national curriculum framework of the school education will be made available in all the regional languages as well. So somehow the efforts have been made to break the language barrier. Other general recommendation that I will not take in much details, just to introduce you with, these are a few generic nature of the recommendations are the transforming assessment system for the student development. So now from summative assessment to assessment process will be completely changed. It supports for the gifted student with special talents will be taken care of, teachers' qualities, service environment, and the culture opportunity for continuous professional development will be at the central stage. The efficient resource and effective governance through school complex and clusters will be taken care of, and standards setting and the accreditation of the schools. The state school standard authority will be developed, come up, which will set the standards and the criteria of the accreditation for the school education. So this is something very brief about the school education and how the school education will be revamped in coming days by following the recommendation of NEP 2020. Now, we'll take up the higher education and how the higher education is, taken a central stage in NEP 2020. The higher education plays an extremely important role in promoting the humans as well as the societal well-being. Higher education significantly contributes towards the sustainable livelihood and the economic development of the nation. As national moves forward, becoming a knowledge economy and the society, more and more young Indians are likely to aspire the higher education. And it is imperative the country like India, where the population is very high and the young generation is, is around 60% in our population. Some of the major problems that currently the higher education is facing is the fragmentation of the higher education system. There are institutes which are of mono streams, and there are institutes which are of multi streams. So it is completely in a fragmented stage. We will take up how to rectify this problem. The less emphasis is on development of cognitive skill and learning outcome. A rigid separation of the discipline is there in higher education. Access is limited. Institutional anatomy is a big problem. Less emphasis is given on the research. Adequate mechanism for merit-based career management and progression is missing. And large affiliation of the universities is a big problem for the governance. So these are some major problems that higher education system is facing. And these problems will be considered while drafting the education policy recommendation. The first recommendation of higher education system to revamp the higher education system is the quality universities and the colleges. A new and forward-looking vision of the Indian higher education system. It is to establish now, the multidisciplinary university and college that offers medium instruction in local and Indian language. So multidisciplinary undergraduate education in place of mono streams. Faculty and institutional anatomy will be given. Academic and administrative anatomy will be ensured. Revamping of the curriculum, pedagogy, assessment is student support. Light but tight regulation by the single regulator of the higher education rather than multiple regulators will be ensured. Increase access, equity, and inclusion through the range of measures like open access, online, MOOCs platform will be developed. So these are the major recommendations to infuse the quality in the university system and the colleges. The institutional restructuring and the consolidation is another recommendation. The single stream higher education institute will be phased out very soon, and the whole system will move to the large multidisciplinary universities, colleges, and higher education clusters, the knowledge hubs. So a university will mean a multidisciplinary institution of higher learning that offers undergraduate and postgraduate program with high quality teaching, research, and community engagement. So there will be three types of universities. The first university that those will be of research intensive universities. Other universities will be teaching intensive universities, and some of the colleges, they will be involved with both the categories. So research-based universities, the universities which will be, the main agenda will be the academics, but they will also do some research, and there will be autonomous colleges. So there is no affiliation in future. All the colleges will be given the autonomy. Rather than single stream, there will be a multi-stream. Single stream means nowadays you can see the IITs or IIM or some of the universities, they are focusing on one stream only. Either they are technical universities or they are the management colleges. But in future, all these will be phased out, and only the multidisciplinary institution will exist. Now, the recommendation is also given towards a more holistic and multiple disciplinary education. Now, here you can see that if you see the ancient Indian literary work, such as Banbhat Kadambari, which describe a good education as the knowledge of 64 kalas or art. And amongst these 64 kalas or arts were not only the subject of singing or the painting, it includes the scientific subjects of the science field, the vocational field, the professional field, as well as soft skills and communication skills. So these are inherent into our, ancient system as well. And the direction has been taken from there. if you see our current system, you'll find that there is a very hard separation of the streams. There is an art stream, there is a science stream. In art stream, the history, geography, physics, psychology, English, pole science, sociology, anthropology, economics, all the subjects comes under the art stream. If you further categorize it, you can categorize it into the liberal arts, social art, and the creative art. Whereas in the science stream, physics, chemistry, biology, zoology, anatomy, botany, you may call it the STEM, science, technology, management, and mathematics. So they have the both streams, they are working in the silos. They are, there is no integration of these two streams. But after the complete implementation of the NEP, there will be no hard separation of this stream. The subjects will be any student from the science and technology stream, they can opt the subject from the art streams, or any student from the liberal art can also take the subject of science stream, science on technology and math, or the mathematics as per their academic interest. To make the system more multidisciplinary, choice-based credit system or the credit-based courses will be introduced. So most of the private universities or the universities which has higher in NAC ranking, they have already introduced this choice-based credit courses. The internships, element of the internship will be introduced so that the student can get the workplace exposure while they are studying. Project in the area of community engagement and services will be introduced. So without compromising the technological or the engineering base or technical base, the student will be given an opportunity to learn the human values as well. The environmental education is nowadays very, very important. The vocational courses to give some skill sets and job opportunities, and the value addition courses like the human value courses will also be introduced. So any student of the technology background, without compromising its technology base, they will learn other skills as well. Now the UG degree and PG degree, the structure will be changed. At present, for the UG degree, the structure is, it is of 3 years course. This 3 years course will be, the student will be given opportunity to either complete this UG program with 3 years course or in the 4 years. And the 4 year will be, completely dedicated to the research. There will be a multiple entry and exit point given. Say, for example, at present, if the student entered into the UG program, he or she has to complete the program in 3 years. And if he or she left in between, he will get no credit of it. But after introduction of this policy, the universities are working to make their system very flexible. So if a student completes exit after 1 year of the completion, he will attain certain credits, and based on the credit, he will get a certificate. After 2 years, the student can get a diploma, and after completion of 3 years, the student get a degree. And after, or if a student opt for 4-year research program, he will get a degree with research or degree with honors and research. So everything will be now credit based. It will be flexible as far as the entry and the exit is concerned. So the system is, if you can say the system is will be completely out of the conventional boundaries that we have been experiencing till now. For the master programs, there is again a change. The higher education institution will have the flexibility to offer the different design of the master program. After completion, master program will be run in 2 frameworks, 2 years and 1 year. So those students who complete their undergraduate degree in 3 years, for master degrees, they have to study for 2 years, and the second year is focused on the research. Whereas those students who will complete the undergraduate degree with research in 4 years, they will enter into master's program of 1 year, and here the focus will be again the research. So 3+2 structure will exist. Simultaneous 4+1 structure will also be exist. As far as PhD degree is concerned, the undertaking a PhD shall require either a master degree or even after completion of the 4-year bachelor degree, the student get enrolled for the PhD. And the most important thing is MPhil degree will be phased out completely. This model has been introduced in various universities. We have also introduced the same model. Recently, the Lucknow University has also floated a framework to introduce the 4-year UG program, wherein after completion of the 3 years, only those students who will achieve or will get 75% marks after completion of 3 years, they will be allowed to take up the 4th year as a undergraduate with research program. So these are the major changes that will be, introduced in our system, in higher education system very soon. Now, another concept of academic bank of credit has been introduced. What is this academic bank of credit? As I told you, that whole system will be credit based. Every course has some credit that will, provide the idea about the weightage of the course. And after completion of the program and after passing of the examination, a student will attain a certain credit. We will take the credit framework in the subsequent slides. But after completion of a UG program, a student can get the credits, and that credit will be, deposited in credit bank, just like a bank's financial banks system that we have been, used to. And this credit bank known as ABC is a virtual digital storehouse that contains the information of the credit earned by the individual students throughout their learning journey. This academic credit bank is to facilitate the students seamlessly mobility between within the degrees of higher education institution through a formal system of credit recognition, credit accumulation, credit transfer, and credit redemption in order to promote distributes and flexible teaching and the learning process. So this credit bank has been already introduced. Some of the universities, those who are above 100 in NIRF ranking, has been already inducted. In the subsequent slide, we will see this framework as well. Another recommendation is optimal learning environment and support of the student has to be ensured. So it can be ensured only by autonomy to innovate on the matters of curriculum, pedagogy, and the assessment within the broader framework of choice-based credit system or open distance learning program or the online program. It also creates a strong internal system for supporting diverse student cohort in the academics and the social domains, like some club committee activities will be introduced, though in the private university, this practice is already adopted. The events of the academic nature to supplement the class teaching will also be, ensured. Professional, academic, and career counseling cells will be introduced. These cells will cater the emotional and the psychological need of the student. The open distance learning and online education to be encouraged to increase the access to the quality of the higher education. You must be, experiencing this thing through SWAM and PTL portal, wherein a lot of more than thousands of MOOCs have been already floated, which are available free of cost to all the students of different level. And the internationalization is also very, very important to introduce the quality of in higher education. The policy envisioned to help higher education institution in having large number of international students studying in India and provide greater mobility to the students in India who may wish to visit, study, and transfer credit or carry out research at institutional abroad and vice versa. Whole idea is that the India will be promoted as a global study destination, providing premium education at affordable cost, thereby helping to restore its role as a Vishwaguru. To ensure all these things within a given framework of time, international student office will be established in all institutions. Research, teaching, collaboration, faculty student exchange with high quality foreign institution will be facilitated. High performing Indian universities will be encouraged to set up campuses in other countries. Now the challenge is how to identify these high performing Indian universities. A legislative framework will be put in place to allow top 100 universities of the world to operate in India. Now another challenge, how to identify these top 100 universities, maybe on the QS ranking would be a better choice. Then the credit required in the foreign university will be permitted to award of a degree. So a credit transfer framework will also be developed. So that way the internationalization will be ensured in whole system to bring the quality and to allow the student for greater mobility. Now the students are premier stakeholder in our system. They are not only the receptacle of the knowledge. So vibrant campus life is essential for high quality teaching and learning. All Institute of Higher Education has to ensure the student support activities like participation in the sports, in the cultural, through clubs, the eco clubs, the activity clubs, the community service, the counseling service, the hostel facility, and the quality medical facilities. All these activities, the sports, the club activities, the community service activities, all will be taken to the next level in coming days, and all these activity will be the credit activity in the program. The university like us and some of the private universities, they have already introduced the courses which cater the need of the sports, the club activity, the community activity. Community activity and community services are the integral part of our system, and in some cases it is the credit courses as well. So after doing this activity, student can get the credits as well. Now regulation of the higher education has been too heavy-handed for the decades. The regulatory system has been rife and very basic problems such as heavy concentration of power within one body, UGC, the conflict of interest, the lack of accountability, and also the governance because of the very heavy body. So government has decided through this policy to completely revamp the system, and the regulatory system is changed in such a manner that the distinct function of the regulation, accreditation, funding, and the academic standards setting will be performed by distinct, independent, empowered bodies. A single regulatory body will guide higher education in India, and that body will be Higher Education Commission of the India. So by the implementation of this policy, there will be only single regulatory body known as Higher Education Commission of India with its 4 verticals. The first one is the National Higher Education Regulatory Council, then the General Education Council, the Higher Education Grant Council, and Higher Accreditation Council. So this National Higher Education Regulatory Council, the function will be create and implement the higher education regulations. The General Education Council will look up into the outcome and the graduate attributes. The Higher Education Grant Council will deal with the funding, academic funding, and the National Accreditation Council will set up the accreditation standard for the higher education institutions, and all will come under the Higher Education Commission of India. and UGC will be completely phased out in coming days. The National Higher Education Qualification Framework will be formulated by General Education Council, and it will be in sync with the National Skill Qualification Framework to ease the integration of vocational education into the higher education. The professional councils like Indian Council of Agricultural Research, Veterinary Council of India, National Council of Teachers Education, Council of Architecture, Council of Vocational Education and Training, that all will be restructured as professional standard setting bodies. So there will be only one PSSB, professional setting standard body, which will deal with all these councils. So that way the whole system will be revamped. All the councils will be phased out, or the UGC will be changed as a Higher Education Commission of the India, and there will be 4 vertical to look up the various need of the higher education system. Now, another important regulation is catalyzing quality academic research in all fields through a new National Research Foundation. The policy envisions a comprehensive approach to transform the quality and the quantity of the research in India, and research is at the core of all aspects. Definitive shifts in the school education to more play and discovery-based style of learning will emphasize on scientific methods and critical thinking. The career counseling, as I told you, in the schools towards identifying a student interest and talent and promoting the research in universities as well. The inclusion of research and internship in the undergraduate curriculum, faculty career management system that will give weightage to research, and the governance and the regulatory changes that encourage the environment of the research and innovation in higher education will be ensured. And to coordinate it, one more vertical by the name of National Research Foundation will be developed. And this NRF will be governed independently of the government by a rotating board of governors consisting of very best researchers and innovators of their field. The role of the NRF will be to fund competitive peer-reviewed grant proposals of all types of disciplines, seed, grow, and facilitate research at academic institution, set up a liaison between the research and relevant branches of the government as well as the industry. So this will also play a bridge between the industry, academia, and the governance, and also recognize outstanding research and progress at Institute of Higher Education. Now, this policy has also, reimagined the vocational education, because the vocational education has the past focused largely on grade 11 and 12. The vocational education is perceived to be inferior to the mainstream education and meant largely for the student who are unable to cope up with the later. This is the perception that affects the choice of the student to go for the vocational education. By 2025, at least 50% of the learner through the schools and higher education system shall have exposed to the vocational education. This is the target. The vocational education will be integrated with the educational offering of all the secondary school in phased manner. Bachelor of Vocational degree will continue. It has already been introduced in 2013 and it will continue. The focus area for vocational education will be chosen based on the skill gap analysis and map of the local opportunities. A National Commission for the Integration of Vocational Education will be constituted. This is another objective of recommendation of the NEP 2020. Now, the teachers' education is vital in creating a pool of school teachers that will shape the next generation. But according to the Justice G.S. Verma Commission 2012, constituted by the Supreme Court, a majority of standalone teachers' education institute over 10,000 in number, are not even attempting serious teacher education, but are essentially selling degree for a price. This was his finding, and it was mentioned in its report. So the regulatory effort so far has been neither been able to curb the malpractices in the system, nor enforce basic standard of the quality, and in fact have led the negative effect of curbing the growth and of the excellent and innovation in this sector. So just to, check these malpractices, 4-year integrated stage-specific, subject-specific bachelor program will be offered with multidisciplinary focus, and new and comprehensive national curriculum frameworks for teacher education will be formulated by NCTE. By 2030, the minimum degree qualification for the teacher will be a 4-year integrated B.Ed degree. The teacher teaches a range of knowledge content and pedagogy, and includes strong practicum training in the form of student teaching at the local school. Stringent action will be taken against the substandard standalone teacher training institutions. Moreover, all standalone teachers education institute will be required to be converted to multidisciplinary institute by 2030. So all the technical institution, vocational institution, or the teachers training institution, all will be converted into multidisciplinary institution, which is the major recommendation of this policy. And government has also, through this policy, trying to curb the commercialization of the education. The regulatory regime shall encourage private philanthropic efforts in the education. Similar standards of the audit for both profit and not-for-profit institutions will be set up. There will be common national guideline for all the legislative acts. So there will be a unified legislative act at the center, as well as unified legislative act at the state level. All the private or the public government institution or of higher education will be under these. The private higher education having the philanthropic and public spirited intent will be encouraged through the progressive regime of fee determination. They have to offer the freebie and scholarship in significant number to their students. All fee charges set up by the private institution will be transparent and fully disclosed, and there shall be no arbitrary increase, because some objection has been raised that giving more flexibility and more autonomy to all the institution will lead to the higher fee charges by the institution. There will be no control, but through this policy, government has clearly mentioned that there will be a unified act and all institutions will be under the same umbrella, and there will be a very stringent audit system will be there. By various ways and means.
Sir?
Please.
Sir, if you wish, we can have a break of 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay, just give me 5 minutes.
Sure.
You finish the first phase so that we can enter into the implementation part, because we are just discussing the recommendation this time.
No problem, sir.
So this part of the policy also have recommendation for motivating, energizing, and increase the capability of the faculty members, because it has been realized that student engagement is a big problem, and the student engagement can only be ensured in the classroom by introducing the ICT facility in the classroom. For that, teachers, those who are dealing with the student, they should be well trained. For that, various measures has been taken to motivate, to energize, and to make the teachers to work their utmost capabilities. The key area of the focus is also on the professional education. The professional education should not take place in the isolation of one specially. So say, for example, the standalone agriculture universities, the legal universities, the health science universities, the technical universities, they all will become under the multidisciplinary framework. They have to, completely change to offer the holistic and multidisciplinary education. And there is a plan to, and there are the recommendation to, introduce and to change to, completely reform, completely change the whole system. And say, for example, the agriculture education system, both capacity and quality of the agriculture and the allied discipline must be improved. Agriculture and veterinary sciences through programs to be integrated with the general education, because general education is kept separate from these specialized streams. It will be now integrated. Reimagine the design of the agriculture education completely. Agriculture technology parks to be promoted, technology incubation and dissemination, and promote the sustainable methodology. So these are the reforms that will be introduced in agriculture education. In the professional education, in the legal education, the offering of the bilingual education will be ensured. The education will be, disseminated in the English as well as the language of the state. Now, for the professional education, particularly the healthcare education, needs to be reinvented completely, so that the duration, structure, and design of the educational program needs to be matched with the role requirement and graduate to play. All the students of allopathic medical education will be, integrated with the Ayush, yoga and naturopathy, Unani and Siddha. At present, they are working in silos. There shall be a much greater emphasis on preventive healthcare and community medicine in all forms of healthcare institutions. Human values and ethics will be introduced. And some of the institutions has already introduced, because this is the very important aspect to make the teacher more sensitive, make the healthcare professional more sensitive towards the need of the patient. As far as technical education is concerned, the technical education aims to offer within multidisciplinary education institution in the program again, and have a renewed focus on opportunities to engage deeply with the other discipline as well. So mono stream education will be, converted into the multidisciplinary education. So emerging technologies that disrupt the market, like artificial intelligence, 3D machine, big data analysis, and machine learning, genomic studies, biotechnology, nanotechnology, neurosciences, all these disruptive technologies with its important application to the health, environment, and the sustainability living will be woven into the undergraduate education and enhance the employability by the youth by integrating these all disruptive technology with the undergraduate education system. Now, we can stop for 10-15 minutes, and after that we will take up some of the key aspects on the adult education and the lifelong learning, and after that we will move towards the actual implementation of the policy at ground level. So shall we stop for some time?
Sure, sir. We can take a break. Meanwhile, if you wish, we can have few questions, if you allow, from the participants.
Yeah, definitely. If or after break, we can take up the questions.
As you suggest, sir.
Definitely, at the end of the session, we will take up some of the questions.
Sure, sir. Then at the second, after the completion of second session, we can have quiz and answer session for both the sessions together.
Definitely.
All right, sir. Thank you, sir.
Shall we start?
Sure, sir. We can start, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
So another recommendation of NEP 2020 is about the adult education and lifelong learning. So adult education curriculum framework will be developed by a new and well-supported constituted body by NCERT. The framework will cover up the foundation literacy and the numeracy for adult people, critical life skills, vocational skill development, and it also take the basic education in the framework, and it will also ensure the continuity of the education for the adult people of our society. Promotion in Indian language, art and culture. In language, we have already discussed that the 3 language formula will be continued, and government is also intended to introduce one Indian Institute of Translation and Interpretation that will be established to ensure that all the objectives are met within given framework. Use and integration of technology to improve the multiple aspects of the education. An autonomous body, the National Education Technology Forum, will be created, and this forum will ensure that how the already existing SWAYAM, NPTEL, Disha platform will be integrated with the main education system, and also how the e-contents that are developed by different bodies are accessible to all the students, particularly the disadvantaged group of the students. Now, how to make this happen, how to implement it? This is a big issue, because the government has a plan to strengthen the Central Advisory Board of the Education, which is already existing. Government has also planned to, completely revamp the MHRD, Human Resource and Development. Now the Human Resource Development the name has been changed. It is known as the Ministry of Education. So this MHRD has no existence now. It is now completely changed to Ministry of Education. Another important aspect that the policy is, will try the best to put 6% of GDP in the education. This is the aim, and the center and the state will work together to increase the public investment in the education sector to reach 6% of GDP at earliest. But you can see the budget of 2023 is still only 2.9% of the GDP is allocated for education in the budget. However, it is the highest ever allocation so far as the amount of money is concerned. But in phased manner, this will be increased to the 6%. Now the implementation plan, how to roll out this policy. These are the recommendations. There are 300 pages written on the recommendation. There are a number of recommendations at each stage. It is very ambitious policy as well, but until unless there is a proper rollout plan, implementation plan is there, the society will not get benefited from this policy. So one thing we must remember that this is a policy, not a law. So implementation is a problem, and it cannot be implemented as such. And all these things that I have mentioned so far, these are all the recommendations. Another important thing that since the education is in the concurrent list, both the center and the state governments can make laws on it. The reform proposed can only be implemented collaboratively by the center and the state. and the states. There will not have, this is not going to happen immediately, it will take time. So government has set the target by 2035 or 2040, the policy will be fully implemented. So time has been given, all the bodies has been asked to, brainstorm in it, find out the ways and means to achieve the target. If not 100%, at least 80 to 90% things can be properly understood and implemented in phased manner. But by 2040, the whole policy will be, active. Here is the timeline for implementation of the NEP. I will not take up everything because it will take too much of time. So by 2040, policy is fully operational. Following with this comprehensive review will be taken up after that. I will share this PPT later on. Now, to understand the rollout of the policy at university level, I have taken three frameworks. The first framework is by UGC. The second framework is by rolled out by UP Higher Education Department. And the third framework, which we have developed and rolled out at our university, which is aligned with both these frameworks. So this is the framework of undergraduate program. This is first year, second year, third year, and fourth year plan. There are three types of subject will be offered. Subject 1, 2, 3. They are the major core. Discipline specific electives are there. Their minor electives are there. Then some generic electives are there. They have different terminologies. Vocational courses will be introduced, and some intra-faculty activities in the form of project internship will also be introduced. As I already mentioned, that all the courses will be of credit based. So here you can see the subject 1, which will be of the core nature. It will be offered in all the labels. From pool of the courses, one course can be selected, and this course will be of 6 credit each. However, the flexibility has been given to the institutions. One course or two courses of 6 credit or 3 courses of 6 credit can also be introduced. Here you will see the core courses for a particular discipline. These are equally distributed in all labels, whereas discipline specific courses will start from the third year onwards. Some minor electives which will supplement the core courses will be introduced at initial level. The generic electives of the discipline will be introduced in first year and second year. Some ability enhancement courses will be introduced in first year and second year only. And the research-based courses that they will, these courses will be introduced at the higher site, higher semesters. So for passing from one semester to another semester, a student has to, gain some credits. So if suppose after completion of the first year, a student want to exit, he can exit if he is able to, get 40 credits. He will receive the certificate, and after completion of the second year, if he is able to acquire 80 credits, he may exit with a diploma. After 3 years, if a student want to exit, he can do it. If he attains 120 credits, he can get the bachelor degree in the main faculty. And if the student wants to pursue the fourth year with research, he can also opt for it, provided that he has 75% of marks. Up to third year, he can opt at the bachelor degree with honors or bachelor degree with research. So these are all options are available. So far, at present, we have only 3 years of the program, and if the student exits in between, there's no weightage, no credit given to them. Accordingly, the program structure was, designed. So if a student exit at certificate level, he must have the knowledge of the core courses along with some generic elective and some vocational courses and career enhancement courses. So this is the very basic structure of the UGC model of framework for introducing the choice-based credit system, which is aligned with the NEP. It ensures the flexibility to move from one discipline to another discipline, opportunity for learners to choose the courses of their own academic interest, facilitating multiple entry and exit with UG certificate, diploma, degree upon the number of the credits secured, flexibility for the learner to move from one institute to another institute, enable them to have multi and interdisciplinary learning. So flexibility to switch to alternative mode of learning. He may opt for offline, open distance learning, online learning, or the hybrid mode as well. So, but this can not so far introduce in total. Only mode of instruction is hybrid, and some of the courses can be, some of the credits can be, transferred from the online teaching through MOOCs. So that way, the whole system is, made very flexible for the learner convenience. For certificate courses, credit requirement is 40. For under a diploma, it is 80. For the bachelor degree, it is 120. And for the bachelor degree with honors and research, it is 160. Some of the courses or the research internship has to be, opted by the student for getting the degree, honors degree or research degree. Here, this slide I have made to understand the credit allocation. You'll see the 60% of the credit allocation is done for core courses and the mainstream courses, whereas the skill enhancement courses, value addition courses, summer internship, this all comes into the 40%. So 60% for technical knowledge, and which is supplemented by the vocational skill and research-based courses to ensure the holistic and multidisciplinary learning in the system. This we have already discussed. Another model for UP higher education department model, which is also, aligned with the UGC model. Here you can see the major 1, major 2, and major 3. 3 subjects were taken. The major 1 is from the own faculty. Major 2 is also from the own faculty, and major 3 may be the subject, any subject or any course may be taken from the another faculty. Say, for example, any student of the science faculty can opt courses from art faculty or management faculty. There are the minor electives introduced. It may be from the same faculty or from the other faculty. There are the vocational skill development courses will be introduced of the 3 credits each, and in first year and second year. There are the minor electives of the co-curricular nature will also be introduced, but this will be these electives will be of qualifying nature. A credit allocation for the research and internship is also mentioned. If you see again in this model, you'll find that the core courses, the courses offered by the faculty are evenly distributed in all semesters, all years, whereas the vocational courses are distributed in first year and second year. Co-curricular activity courses also in initial semesters, but the research methodology in higher semesters were given. Here, if the model, if you see, you'll find that after completion of the 46 credit instead of 40 in the previous model, is required for the certification. 92 credits are required for diploma after completion of 2 years. bachelor degree after completion of 3 years, 132 credits are basic requirement. If a student opted for some additional courses, based research-based courses, and attain 184 credit, he will be given bachelor degree with research. For masters, as we have already discussed, it will run in 3+2 and 4+1 model. So if 4 years bachelor degree is completed, then student can take admission in masters, 1 year masters. If it is of 3 years degree, he has to opt for 2 years master program and attain 332 approximate credits to get the master degrees. After that, there is the very unique provision given in UP higher education model. A student can take admission in the PhD, and after completion of the coursework, after 1 year, if a student left, he will get the postgraduate diploma and doctorates. So after completion of the coursework, nothing will go in waste. The student will get a diploma and doctorate. Whereas if he completed the thesis in a stipulated time, he will get the PhD degree. So this model is also very good model, and most of the government and private universities of Uttar Pradesh has adopted this model with minor modification at various places. Again, these slides I wanted to show the credit distribution. You can see the major courses that are required for all different certification, diploma, bachelor degree. Major courses type 2, which are of supplementary nature. These are required for certificate, diploma, and bachelor degree only. Some of the courses like vocational, this is required for certificate and diploma, but not the higher degrees. Co-curricular activities of the qualifying nature. And industrial training research, these are required for bachelor and master's degree. So that way the credit distribution has been facilitated in the model framework. We have also, at Amity, we have also rolled out this policy. We are offering the discipline 1, which are the core in nature, then the discipline 2 type of courses, which are multidisciplinary in nature, and discipline 3, any student of science or art or technology can opt for photography, fashion technology. So a lot of flexibility is given in our system. There are specialized electives, which will, of higher academic rigor courses. There are minor electives. The vocational courses are there. Value addition courses, we have given importance. We are running 30 credit courses of value addition. The co-curricular and extracurricular activity in our system is under the credits. Internship and apprenticeship is inherent. We also have developed the framework for the transfer of credit from SWAYAM and PTL MOOCs. We ensure that every student has to get at least 5 credit or 6 credit from foreign business language. So it is a compulsory courses. The apprenticeship and the internship we have already introduced at UG, PG, and diploma level. Here is our model framework, which is taken from the UP Higher Education Department. Here, the important thing is that if you see the value addition, we made compulsory some of the value-added courses like behavioral sciences. The student has to opt in. There is no choice. They have to complete at least 6 credit in its own tenure. There is communication skill courses to improve the communication skill of the students and the foreign business language. And all these courses are credit courses, which is in addition to what UGC model or UP higher education model has suggested. We have non-teaching credit courses, means internship, which are not teaching courses, is courses are intended to give the workplace exposure to the student and is equally distributed throughout the semesters. And we have NPTEL MOOCs platform credit transfer method, a framework we have developed. Any student can opt the courses from SWAYAM NPTEL MOOCs and they can apply for the credit transfer. So for minimum credit prescribed for the three-year degree in our system is 164 and minimum prescribed credit for the 4 degree it is 220, which is higher than the UGC model as well as from the UP Higher Education Department model. Here I have also given a comparison. For UGC system, 40 credits are required for certification. You can see the 36 credit required for UP model, and in our model, AUP model, it is 56. So credit requirement for degree, diploma, bachelor degree, or the master degrees is a bit higher in our system because we made compulsory all the value addition courses as well as the skill enhancement courses. So credit requirement, we do not follow the minimum prescribed limit. We have our own system, which is much rigorous and much stringent to the basic models of UGC and UPHET. Now, academic bank of credit has already been, floated. The academic bank of credit platform has been developed by National E-Governance Division of Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology under DigiLocker framework. So all the universities, but specifically those who are first top ranking universities, NIRF rank 100 universities were offered to get registered to open an account on this Academic Bank of Credit DigiLocker, which is in the DigiLocker framework. And students will, check their credit and also ensure that those credits are as per the credits that they have attained from the examination after completing the examination. And the student can, when change the institution, they can redeem this credit for continuation of their study at different institution and at the different institution. So this academic bank of credit, this is now a reality. We have also registered and we are trying to, make it active at all levels in our organization. Other institutions are also getting registered and very soon, by coming days, in 5 to 10 years, there will be another bank, academic bank for the students, wherein they can deposit their credits and they can redeem it as and when they required within a stipulated framework. Now, as I told you that outcome-based education is the inherent in the policy. We have implemented this outcome-based education system in 2014, much before the rollout of the NEP. Outcome-based education is nothing but it provides a clear target to the student before they enter into the academic environment. And also how to achieve the path, how to achieve the target, the path is also defined. So target is defined, path is defined. And this, to ensure this, there should be a vision, and that vision should be translated into the mission. And based on the mission, there should be some broad-based goals or the objective that has to be communicated to the learner. There should be some graduate attributes set for each and every program. What are the graduate attributes? We will take up in subsequent slide. Each and every program has to have defined objectives. And for each objective, there is a method to, map the outcome, and even the courses that has to have some outcome. Only then we can say that the system is completely outcome based, because getting a result, getting a mark, getting a grade is not outcome, it's output. But what is the learning is the outcome. and that learning paths, if defined in a proper manner, path is defined and communicated to the learners before they enter into the academic environment, that would help them to achieve their life goals. Our academic philosophy, which is again aligned perfectly with the NEP 2020, student centricity is at the core. Whole learning is outcome based. There is a flexibility in teaching and learning process. All the courses are industry oriented. Value and ethics are introduced. The courses of value and ethics has been credit courses and introduced in our system. Whole system is completely transparent. At any point of time, a student and their guardian can see their progress on the portal, and whole system is research and innovation driven. So lifelong learning is inherent in our system. Here in this picture, you can see all the mission, vision, goals, objectives, outcomes has been defined at university level, at institute level, at program level and course level, even the module and session level as well. And there is a coherency amongst all these levels. So information from the mission flows down to mission of the faculty, that it further percolates down to the mission of the institution, and the mission of the institution is very well aligned with the program level objectives and attributes of the student. And that way we have made our system completely transparent and completely outcome based, and each and every activity can be mapped. Here are the graduate attributes that we have ensured. Government has also in the policy Higher Education Commission, one vertical of Higher Education Commission is dedicated and will function to define the graduate attributes. We have already defined the graduate attributes for our students. Graduate attributes are nothing but the expertise and the knowledge that a student should gain after the completion of the process of the program. We have defined the graduate attributes at university level. Say for just to give you a glimpse of all these, you can see the 15 graduate attributes, which says that research and inquiry, information and communication technology skill has to be gained, communication skill, creativity, discipline and knowledge and expertise, leadership quality, integrity, social and emotional skills, employability and enterprise, lifelong learning and environmental sustainability. So all the SDG goals, NEP goals, NEP targets, all these are, reflected in our graduate attributes. And these are the graduate attributes at university level. Likewise, the graduate attributes of a particular institution and the graduate attribute of each and every course has been defined. So for engineering students, graduate attributes are aligned with their requirements. For the biotechnology student, graduate attributes are different. For humanities student, graduate attributes are different. But all these graduate attributes are, broad directions from the university graduate attributes. And that these attributes help the student to gain knowledge and expertise in a very defined and very, precise manner. Flexibility in teaching and learning. We have already introduced our choice-based credit system in 2014. We have our well-defined model framework. Now the model framework is aligned with the NEP requirement. And we also provide the academic basket to each and every student. Every student can pick and choose the courses of their own interest. Whole lot of flexibility is given in our system. And by choosing the courses of their own interest, they can make their academic basket. We call it the academic planning worksheet. So for each and every student, we have already a local type of academic credit bank, wherein all the credit are deposited, and this credit can be used for award of the degree. But now we have, further made it flexible. If a student can be able to get the certain minimum credits for award of the certificate or the diploma, he can exit from the program within the stipulated given time frame, if he or she has the enough number of credits in their credit bank. You can see our program structure, which is again aligned with NEP. Everything is given here. The program code, label, mission, description, educational objective, structure, learning outcome, mapping of learning outcome with learning objectives. A student can get the competency role matrix, annual outcome plan, employability, resource planning, everything is given. And this program structure is given to the student before they enter into the academic environment in a orientation program. We have a online system, LMS, learning management system known as Amity Intranet Zone, AMI Zone. It put the student in our system, online system. When they take admission, the enrollment process is automated, then whole academics is on Amazon. The examination activity, convocation, even if they passed out and become the member of an alumni group, they are on our system on Amazon. So whole academic cycle of the student is driven by the Amazon. It is like a social network or learning management system for every student of Amity. Is academic calendar, registration, academic planning, courses, timetable, faculty, examination, student document, fee details, guided courses, study courses, suggestion box, internship, everything is given on this system. And a student can, the update is done on real time. A student can get all details related to these aspects in real time. Even the parents can also get. Our learning system is aligned with the requirement of NEP and SDG goals. There is announcement about the teacher, announcement about the course, the academic calendar, description, session planning, online assignments, and assessment is updated on the LMS, contact of the teacher. And there are discussion forums to ensure the 4-quadrant approach of NPTEL and SWAM. The study materials and journals will be given to the student before they start the study. And the help section provides flexibility for the study anywhere and anytime. We have already upgraded our system to align with the requirement of the NEP at the 4-quadrant level, wherein the video lectures, e-content, assessment, and discussion, everything is available on LMS. So before the student entered into the classes, he can study the topic, and the classes are being done in a discussion mode. We have upgraded our system to education 4.0. There is a difference between 4.0 and 5.0 education system. In 4.0 education system, emphasis is given on the technical competency to match with the requirement of the industry. But in the 5.0, which was introduced very recently, the more humanized approach with the focus of the student on social and emotional need were given. So we have upgraded our system to 5.0 standard, wherein we offer courses like human value and community outreach, HVCU courses. These courses are credit courses, and each and every student has to earn credit for these courses. Only then he or she will be eligible for the award of the degree. These are the courses, human value and ethics based courses, which is also one of the recommendation of NEP. We have already introduced at UG and PG level, and these are the credit courses. We have introduced this behavioral science courses for each semester, which focus on self-awareness, social cognition, emotional intelligence, and leadership and resilience. So from my side, this is all about though this is a huge big topic, it takes hours to complete it, but I have somehow accommodated in these 2 sessions. These are the references that I have taken help of Education Policy 2020. I have also gone through the implementation strategies, which was floated by National Institute of Educational and Planning Administration, NIPA, New Delhi. I have also consulted the National Higher Education Qualification Framework, UP Higher Education Framework that I have recently discussed, UGC NEP 22 Model Framework I have taken into consideration, as well as the guideline for 3 or 4 year UG/PG programs based on the 3-discipline pattern of AUP Amity University, Uttar Pradesh, Lucknow, Noida. I have taken into consideration for compilation of the matter, as well as making this presentation that I have presented before you just now. So thank you very much. If you are interested to any discussion, please, I welcome you all.
Thank you, sir, for such a detailed summarized session of the new education policy 2020. I'm sure that the participants who have joined today will surely have grabbed a few notes of the NEP 2020.
If you wish, I will share all these references, all this material with you. You can
that will be more helpful, sir.
Definitely, I'll do that.
Thank you, sir. Dear participants, if you have any queries or questions related to NEP, sir is open to have a discussion on that. You can either unmute yourself or can just write your question on the chat box so that your question can be answered.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
That may I know what is the proposal for multidisciplinary education and research universities? I have shown you 3 models to ensure the multidisciplinarity in the education system. One model of UGC, one model of UP Higher Education System, and one model of my university, the private university, which is a private university of philanthropic intent. I have shown 3 models. I will share all these models with you. You can have a look on it, and if you have any specific question, you can ask, or you can ask me on the later stage. I would request the organizer to share my email to all the participants, so that they can ask any question at any time, even after completion of this session as well.
Sure, sir. The same will be done.
So maybe the session is very heavy, and I have tried to concise a huge big information in 50-60 slide, which is too heavy to everyone. So there may be no question at this stage. Maybe later on the student, the participant will ponder upon it. They will brainstorm, and they will come up with some of the questions.
And there is a question, sir. What is the biggest challenge of NEP 2020?
The biggest challenge of NEP 2020 is to ensure the multidisciplinarity in the system, because there are huge ambitious plan. There are number of courses. You have to break the boundary of the streams. There should be no distinction between the streams. And how a student of art can opt a courses of management or fashion technology or photography if he is interested. NEP 2020 put that recommendation to ensure the flexibility in the system, and this is the biggest problem for the academic administrators, to make a plan, to make a model system, so that a student can get the courses of their own academic interest. This is the biggest problem that we have been facing, and we have been trying to make the system flexible as far as possible for us.
Sir,
I have got one question from Aditi Singh. 4-year BSc sufficient to take admission in the PhD, or 1 year postgraduate will also be needed? No. Recently, many universities have floated this plan. After completion of the 4 year of the BSc or the BA or any undergraduate degree, 4-year BSc undergraduate with research, the student will be eligible to take admission in the PhD program.
Sir, in your session 1, you had mentioned that the dropout rate has been quite high in when the student goes to 12th class from primary education to
it is very it is around 79% only.
Yes, sir.
GRE is 79%. It means there is 30% of the learners they drop out.
Yeah,
so
sir.
Government has been planning to take all these 30% and to improve the GRE to 100% by 2030 by ensuring the infrastructure is school infrastructure is, particularly the government school infrastructure is not good. So government is doing everything to make the infrastructure student friendly. They are educating the teachers. Different frameworks has been developed to make the teacher more competent so that they can ensure the engagement of the student in the classroom, not just by treating the student as a receptacle of knowledge, but treat the student as a learner.
Sir,
so a lot of efforts has been made. Please.
So I believe one of the most prominent reasons for the dropout is the finances, as India is one of the developing nations where 60% of the population belongs to agricultural society.
Right.
And finances is one of the major challenges where people belonging to agricultural sector is difficult for them to raise off.
Right.
Or for getting primary education or a secondary education for them is easy, as students are being financed by the students. I mean by the government in these times. But when a student moves on to higher education, there are I don't think so there are much of the financial support that is being given by the government to these kinds of students.
Right. So government, as I mentioned at various slides, there are several recommendations that government will ensure the infrastructure. Government will ensure that the child care, the healthcare system is also integrated with the education system. Anganwadi program is now integrated with the child care education. And as far as dropout rate in higher education is concerned, government is making it completely skillful, and the skill sets are being introduced so that student not only get the knowledge but also get the skills for their survival in the life. Vocational courses are being introduced. Government is also promoting their own system of education, as well as the universities of philanthropic intent, like private universities, to offer the scholarship, to offer the free education for the meritorious students. Government is also supporting the students through their own scholarship programs. In our university, I would say there are more than 400 students were supported by the government programs. They are getting scholarship from the government. The whole fees is, completely reimbursed by the government. So a lot of programs are going on. Apart from this, those who cannot get it, government is ensuring that the banks, they provide the loans to the student. And once the education will be profitable in the sense that after completing a degree, if the student will be able to get the job in any of the sectors, it will definitely improve the GRE.
Sir, I have one more question.
Please.
Sir, technical courses are considered as one of the most skilled courses of this country, whether it's been biotechnology, IT, CSE, civil, mechanical. But one of the major challenges is that the students are not getting well placed either into the industry or somewhere else.
Right.
So how do you think that a course which has been proposed by NEP where a student can opt out from the education and then get benefited with the opting out or by joining, how can that student will be placed somewhere in future?
See, the NEP, if you see, the major ingredient of the NEP is the skill enhancement of the students. And if you see the model framework of three model framework that I have shared with you, the emphasis is given to the internship and apprenticeship. Uh, and this internship and apprenticeship, it has around 20% of the credit allocation is given to them. It means if the internship is implemented in a proper manner, it will ensure the workplace exposure to the student. Say, for example, in our system, we always try to send the student to the industry for the internship so that they can get the real exposure and they can learn the industry problems and they work on the industry problem. Even our PhD program, we always try to ensure that the student opt the problems which are faced by the industry or by the society itself. So if you work on the real problem, if you get the exposure while studying, there is no point that uh, there is a scarcity of job in the market. Only that you have to attain the proper skill sets. You have to align with the standards of industry 4.0, education 4.0, and definitely the job is there that you have to grab by attaining all these traits.
So there is a question from our participants. What will be the impact of NEP on teachers' life?
Teacher's life will be very, very easy now. I tell you, I am also a teacher. I have been teaching at undergraduate, postgraduate, and PhD level. I tell you, earlier I have to study a lot. Nowadays, everything is available on net. And from the net, from the library, I can make the e-content. And once I make the e-content, and I have recorded 30 videos, and it took me 2 months to record all these 30, 40 videos. Now, before entering into the class, I upload this video on my LMS. I ask the student to see this video, and that makes my job absolutely easy because I conduct classes in the discussion mode most of the time because video is there, content is there. You are supposed to come prepared. And those who are interested, I am not saying that all the students are very interested and very, performing at the desired level. At least initially it was 10%, now it increases to 40, 50%. I'm sure in coming days, if we continue with the positive note, we will put more than 80 to 90% the student within this framework. And this is very, very helpful for the teachers. So
Sir,
for
Amity's
teachers,
infrastructure does support this kind of education where you say that uh, our faculty can upload his video and then can share among the students. But sir, how about the faculties where the students are not that much privileged? I mean, where the
right? I'll tell
infrastructure is
you, I
not
tell
that much
you,
good.
I tell you, the Amity has some privileges. I understand, I accept it. But I tell you, just log on to SWAM and PTL portal. There are more than 526 courses of more than 30 disciplines has been floated on SWAM and PTL. All courses are free. Registration is free. All courses e-content is there. Transcript is there. Assessment program is there. You can just go there and download everything and read. Even I tell you one secret. I have been doing one course at this stage. I'm a professor. I am doing one course. I take up one course from SWAM and PTL in each semester just to upgrade myself because these courses are developed by the eminent professor of IIT and IIM and other universities. These courses are very well, updated and aligned with all the requirements of the education system. You can download the content, you can read it. You need not to go to any library. You need not to go to your LMS of your institute. You can just download everything and you can read it. And I have promoted my student to do so. And the most important thing, these courses you can take up for your understanding, for your knowledge, as well as if you appear in the examination. The cost of the examination is just 1,000 rupees and it is optional as well. So if you take up the examination, you will get a certificate from IIT. And this will enhance your skill while you are studying the regular courses, the core courses.
Yes, sir.
So
Exactly.
it is not that though we are privileged, we have on our system, there's no doubt. But even though those who are not with the private universities or the universities of philanthropic intent, they can also access these courses. These are absolutely free of cost, no price, and high quality courses are there. So I would suggest all the learners, those who are here, and the teachers promote their students to take up courses from SWAYAM and PTL portal.
Sir, there is one more question.
Please.
With which process we can find out gap and cover it in the subject? This is from one of our participants, Dr. Pallavi.
Okay. What I understand that you are trying to focus on your understanding gap of the particular subject. So just see the prerequisite of the course first. So in our outcome-based education system that is adopted by the government universities as well, there is also a prerequisite given before the courses. So some kind of knowledge is required to understand that subject. So that knowledge is required, and that knowledge will fill the gap. This is one important thing. Another important thing is the theoretical knowledge is not enough to, enhance your skills. You have to expose yourself to the real life situation, real problems of that particular subject, and that those real problems you can get it by exposing yourself with the industry or with any company, or in where the application part is prevalent. So that way you can identify the gaps, you can fill the gaps, and you will get the solution then and there.
I hope Dr. Pallavi has got her answer from sir. Any other question?
Sir, I just wanted to ask one very small thing that is that teaching in regional language is also one of the policy of NEP 2020.
Right, but it is very, very difficult because the education is in concurrent list. So NEP recommended that the education up to the class 12 must be in the local language or regional language or in the mother tongue, whatever is the possible way of whatever possible method is there. But it is again in the concurrent list. Concurrent list means there is a control of the state, there is a control of the central as well. So I give you an example. Recently in Hyderabad, in Andhra Pradesh, they have issued a circular that all the education at child primary level, middle level, and at 10+2 level will be in English. They have not accepted this thing. So there is a flexibility given. States can make their own law. In UP, education is given in Hindi. In other states, they have freedom to take it. But if you see the example of Andhra, they have made the method of instruction at the lower level in English. Now there are the problems with this system because there are multiple layers are there. The students of UP is getting education in Hindi. When the student of the UP will transfer to another state, what will they do? So these problems are there, but there are different verticals and frameworks are being developed. They will study the problem. That is why the government has given a time frame of around 20 years to implement this policy. So the problems will come and the solution will be identified and executed.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you so much, sir.
Sir,
Any other question?
Yes, sir.
Please.
Sir, the current era and the upcoming times, not only in our life, but in industries, we see as the artificial intelligence and robotics is going to, implemented at a large scale. Sir, then how do you suggest or how do you think that students will get placed in a bulk as in current times we see at times?
Right. The artificial intelligence is something which is, relevant to all fields. Even if you see the agriculture field, I have experienced that there are the drone technology is introduced, and this drone technology is, this is AI-enabled technology. It can identify through imaging. It can identify the disease incidence in a particular area, and by using artificial intelligence, this spray of the insecticide and pesticide can be, targeted in a specific area. So it will help not only in engineering sector, but in agriculture sector as well. Even in the education sector, it is very, very, the technology is going to be, disrupt the whole market soon. Now, how to, get skill in technologies like artificial intelligence or IoT, Internet of Things, or any other disruptive technologies. The only thing is to work with the problem, with the industry. Only then you will be able to identify those gaps. And also, again, I will advocate uh, the MOOCs portal to be made popular, to be accessed by all the students, because in the SWAM and PTL itself, I have found 4 courses of which are of which offer in field of IoT or in artificial intelligence. Now, one more thing I would like to mention here is about the virtual lab of the Ministry of Education. This virtual lab that provide you a platform to perform experimentation, even without having any equipment. So one should also try. So all these platforms, if accessed in a proper manner, it will train you to all these new technologies. And these are very, very important. One has to upgrade himself, and one has to be improved version of themselves to be become relevant for the job market.
Thank you, sir, for the answer. So, any of the participants, if have any queries or questions, are open to ask, either in the chat box or by unmuting themselves.
I'm not getting any question on chat box right now.
No questions as of now.
So I would request to share my email.
Sure,
Later
sir.
on, they can ask. I would
Sure,
be
sir.
happy to answer. I would be happy to interact on each and every aspect.
Thank you, sir.
So I think everything is over now.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So with your
So at the
permission,
end,
sir, we can
I'm
close this
thankful.
session.
I'm very thankful to Dr. Manish Singh Rajput, who is heading the Department of Biotechnology. I am grateful to Professor Dr. Rachna Asthana, the director of the institution, for giving me this opportunity. How can I be thankful to Parul Johri? I am not sure how to communicate because he worked with me for 12, 13 years. I have hardly any, direct discussion with him, but yes, I have mentored her, and I wish him all the best. She is very bright and talented student, and I'm thankful to you,
Thank you, sir.
Sushilji, for all technical support and asking so many questions.
Sir, actually, the NEP 2020 has just been introduced, and
Right.
not me, but everyone involved in teaching has got many queries and questions related to NEP.
Right.
So
I can
just
understand, and there
curiosity.
are huge gap in understanding as well.
Yes, sir.
I can deliver because I am the part of the rollout plan of. So I have learned so many things, but it is very, very difficult to deliver to the audience who is not well versed with this thing. Because a lot of recommendations are there. It is the policy of 300 pages. A lot of research has been going on. More than 150,000 suggestions were also entertained for amendment of the policy even after floating the first draft in 2019. So the huge big draft. I will share some of the brief note on it, these references with you. Please share it with the learners and
Yes,
share my email ID. I will be happy to respond everyone.
thank you, sir. With this, I thank you again, sir, for sparing some time with us from your valuable at the two in evening hours, specifically where This time is meant for the family.
Right.
And I thank all the participants also to join us for the day 4 of the program. I thank everyone. With this, I wish a very good night to one and all. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much
So
for
much, sir. Thank you so much,
patience.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Once
Parag.
again.
Thank you very much.